Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to act as your guide to totally demystify how the human eye works, how we correct vision, and how the massive global vision care industry actually functions behind the scenes. But more importantly, we're going to look at how all of this connects to real, empowering career opportunities right in your own neighborhood. Now, just a quick reminder before we really get going, all the health content we discuss today is strictly general information, not medical advice. For anything concerning your own eyes, you should always consult an eye care professional.
All right, we've got a fantastic lineup for you. We'll be moving through 5 key areas today: the eye as camera, the modern eye exam, the business of glasses, protecting your vision, and finally, community care and careers. We are literally going to journey from the microscopic biology of your own eye, zoom all the way out to the multi-billion-dollar eyewear business, and then bring it right back home to how you can build a stable, meaningful career helping your community.
So, let's jump straight into Section 1, the eye as camera. The mechanics of how we actually see are just absolutely fascinating.
Think of your eye kind of like a living, breathing camera. You've got this clear front dome called the cornea, and right behind it is a flexible lens. Together, their whole job is to bend incoming light and focus it perfectly onto the retina, which is basically a screen of light-sensitive cells sitting at the very back of your eye. The retina catches that image and sends it right down the optic nerve to your brain. But, sometimes that light just doesn't land perfectly on the retina. When that happens, you get what's called a refractive error, and that right there is exactly what glasses are built to fix.
So what happens when things get blurry? Well, there are 4 main refractive errors you should know about. If your eyeball is just a tiny bit too long, light focus is too early. That causes myopia or nearsightedness, which is easily fixed with a concave lens. On the flip side, if the eyeball is too short, you get hyperopia or farsightedness, and we correct that with a convex lens. Then there's astigmatism, which is basically when the cornea is shaped more like a football than a perfectly round basketball, blurring vision at all distances. That takes a cylindrical lens to fix. And finally, there's presbyopia. This is super common. Starting around age 40, the natural lens inside the eye just starts to stiffen up. It's totally normal. It's just a regular part of aging, not a disease at all. And it's exactly why so many of us eventually reach for a pair of reading glasses.
Now that we understand the biological side of things, let's move right into Section 2, the modern eye exam, and see exactly how professionals find the solution.
If you've ever been to an eye doctor, you might have been a little intimidated by that big machine you have to look into, the one that flashes a light or shows you a little picture of a hot air balloon. Don't worry, that's just an autorefractor. It's doing something called objective refraction. It shines light into your eye, measures how it bounces off the retina, and completely objectively calculates a starting prescription without you having to say a single word. Then comes the subjective part. That's the classic test using a phoropter, where they flip the lenses and ask that famous question, better with 1 or 2?
So the real takeaway here is that the autorefractor gives us this highly accurate, computerized baseline. But the actual human conversation you have with your eye care professional, that remains absolutely essential to fine-tune the prescription and get your vision perfect. The technology assists, for sure, but human care is what completes it.
All right, let's pull back the curtain a bit in Section 3, the business of glasses. It's time to look at the massive industry that actually makes these corrective tools.
It is honestly mind-blowing when you look at the sheer scale of the eyewear business today. Back in 2018, the world's largest lens manufacturer, Essilor, merged with the world's largest frame manufacturer, Luxottica. Today, this vertically integrated giant, Essilor-Luxottica, has their hands in almost every single step of the process. They own huge designer brands like Ray-Ban and Oakley. They operate retail chains you walk past every day like LensCrafters and Target Optical. And they even own iMed, the vision insurance company that actually pays for the glasses.
And here's a fascinating industry secret for you. Modern manufacturing has made creating glasses incredibly cheap and wildly fast. Historically, lenses had to be slowly, meticulously ground down by hand. Today, not so much. Lenses are rapidly machine-surfaced or even just injection molded from plastic at a massive global scale. They get a quick coating for UV and scratch protection, and then they're just snapped right into the frames. Believe it or not, the actual physical creation of the glasses is no longer the hardest part of the vision care equation.
Since making the glasses is actually the easy part, let's shift gears to Section 4, protecting your vision. We want to focus on how you can personally protect what you literally cannot replace. And just a quick reminder again as we talk health, this is general information, not medical advice.
Let's look at how our eyes change across our lifespan. Right now, myopia, nearsightedness, is growing incredibly fast in children.
Now, we need to bust a common myth right away. Doing eye exercises does not cure nearsightedness. However, getting kids to spend plenty of time outdoors in natural daylight, that actually does help prevent myopia from progressing. It's that simple. Then, as we move into adulthood and eventually our senior years, our vision needs continue to evolve, bringing new choices and very normal, manageable conditions.
For example, in our later years, the natural proteins in our eye's lens can accumulate and cloud our vision. We call this a cataract. I know the word sounds a little scary, but it's really just aging proteins, and it's highly treatable with incredibly safe, routine surgery. Understanding these things practically really helps remove the fear. The same goes for global eye health. Trachoma is a major cause of preventable blindness worldwide, but it's actually caused by a bacterium, not a parasite, and it's super treatable with just basic antibiotics and access to clean water.
For adults looking for solutions beyond glasses, our best advice is always to protect what you can't replace. If you wear contact lenses, you absolutely must keep them away from tap water. Never rinse them in the sink, because tap water can contain an amoeba called acanthamoeba that causes very dangerous eye infections. Always use proper sterile solution. And what about LASIK? It's a procedure where a laser permanently reshapes your cornea. It's a fantastic, completely valid choice for many people, but it's best to approach it with balanced expectations. It's not a magic miracle cure for everyone, so you definitely want to have a thorough chat with an eye care professional first.
A big part of community care is looking at vision holistically. Sometimes a really thorough eye exam is just one piece of identifying someone's unique learning style. Neurodivergent conditions like autism, ADHD, and dyslexia are absolutely not things that are wrong with a person. They are simply differences to be identified so we can offer the right accommodations. Making sure someone has clear vision is one of the most foundational ways we can support people with dignity, allowing them to comfortably thrive.
Now, on a sensitive but incredibly vital note regarding community care, personal safety and vision are deeply linked. Deliberately taking away or destroying a disability aid, like someone's prescription glasses, is a serious form of abuse. It is not discipline. It isolates a person and compromises their safety, and experiencing this is absolutely never the victim's fault. If you or someone you know is experiencing this, please know that help is completely free, confidential, and available 24/7. You can safely call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 or just text the word START to 88788.
Finally, let's head into Section 5, Community Care and Careers. We are going to explore how everything we've talked about translates into an empowering livelihood for you.
So we've seen that making glasses is cheap, it's fast, and it's run by these massive wealthy monopolies. But despite that, folks right down the street, or kids in your local schools, still can't see the chalkboard clearly. Why on earth does this gap exist? It all comes down to what we call the last mile. This is the massive logistical and human challenge of actually getting the clinical exam, the accurate prescription, and the physical glasses to the individuals in underserved communities who need them the most. And overcoming this exact barrier is where a warm, knowledgeable workforce steps in to make a massive difference. That is where you come in.
You can build a very genuine, stable livelihood by climbing an incredibly accessible career ladder in vision care. You can start right in your own neighborhood as a community screener, where your cultural understanding of your community is literally your greatest asset. From there, you can train up to become an optical technician, getting hands-on with the tools in a clinic. And eventually, you can become an optician or clinic manager, where you're guiding patients, fitting their glasses, and really running the business of care.
Now, if you do step into that crucial last-mile role of a community screener, there is one golden rule you absolutely have to remember. Screening is strictly about noticing a potential visual issue and referring that person to a professional. It is never your job to diagnose or label a patient. Your role is simply, and wonderfully, to be that essential bridge connecting them to professional care.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a thought to mull over. The eye is an incredible, absolutely irreplaceable instrument. By understanding how it works, you save money, you protect your own health, and you uncover a real pathway to a rewarding career. So how will you use this knowledge to not only protect your own sight, but to become that vital link, bringing clear vision back to the people in your community who need it most? Thank you so much for learning with us today, and we'll catch you next time.